Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, please.
Mayor Bailey?
Here.
Mr. Bateman? Mr. Blair?
Here.
Mr. Hart?
Here.
Mr. Ori?
Here.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Here.
Mr. Ping?
Here.
Can we have a motion to excuse Mr. Bateman?
Move to excuse. Second.
Did we have a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Ori?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Ping?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Welcome, everyone. We have a full house. Glad to have you all here tonight. With us, we have our Director of Finance, Mark Medler, Assistant City Manager, Corey Wright, Clerk of Council, Misty Clark, Dave Kennedy, City Manager, our City Solicitor, Joe Braun, Chief of Police, Michael Gabrielson, the Marketing and Communications Coordinator, Krista Rose, is in the back. Also with us, we have former council members, Peggy Goodwin, Pat Mays, I saw somewhere, Todd Osborne, former Mayor Linda Cox. We have President of the Loveland City School District Board, Kathy Lorenz. I think I saw Cece, President of the Little Miami River Chamber Alliance. I think that's everyone. Did I forget anyone? So welcome, everyone. Glad to have you here. We have a lot of fun presentations and announcements tonight. First, Chief. Mike.
Yeah.
Mayor, Council, thank you for having us. Officer Wright, that is in front of you, is the 2022 co-recipient of, let me make sure I get this right, from the Hamilton County Police Association, the Clarence Sid Caesar, he's formerly of Cincinnati PD, the Award for Investigations Demonstrating Interagency Cooperation. So I'll explain to you what Officer Wright did to win this award. He's recognized for a multi-agency investigation when in 2022 credit card skimmers were located on a business within the city of Kettering. Officer Wright worked with local, state, and federal agencies to uncover a series of crimes affecting our region. Their combined efforts led to the identification of suspects who have been charged with numerous federal crimes. In the investigation, he was contacted by a Loveland citizen who believed her credit card had been compromised. Officer Wright discovered a covert credit card skimmer added to the gas pumps at a local gas station. A lot of officers would have just stopped right there, taken the report, and that would have been the end of it. Officer Wright took it upon himself to contact the U.S. Secret Service, and they have analysts who are specialized in collecting electronic evidence such as this. He arranged for them to come out. They collected the credit card skimmers. They were able to analyze that data. The U.S. Secret Service then opened up an investigation into this, and they were able to identify two suspects responsible for sizable financial losses to citizens and businesses across the greater Cincinnati area. In addition to the U.S. Secret Service and Loveland Police Department, the investigation involved the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the Ohio Attorney General's Office, and ultimately a number of agencies throughout our region who lost. I'm trying to think. What are the stores they were going to? Lowe's, Home Depot, Target. They were gathering the credit card information and then making credit cards and ultimately going out and purchasing just tens of thousands of product from the stores that we all visit in our region and defrauding all of those stores. So through his investigation, again, he could have just stopped, but he went through, and this multi-agency investigation was honored by the Hamilton County Police Association. Officer Wright, we're happy to have him here. He comes to us. We handpicked him from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and he transplanted himself up to Loveland Police Department for us. In addition to working patrol here, He's previously worked investigations. He was a SWAT operator. He worked protective details. He is fluent in Spanish, so we use him quite frequently for translations for us. He holds a master's degree in justice administration from the University of the Cumberlands, and we are extremely happy and proud to have him here. I did not. That's
Come over. I just asked him if he made you stand up front. He never stands up front.
And wherever you'd like me
You
to.
didn't have to do that. All right, we take every opportunity we can to bring in our police officers, to thank our police officers, to thank our police department. I think we have one of the finest police departments and one of the finest police chiefs now in this area, and we are very proud of our department, very proud of our officers. We applaud what you did. Here is a challenge coin for you. You are the first officer to receive one. So you can show that off to all your buddies. Well, thank you.
Thank you so
Is
much.
there anything you want?
Congratulations. Thanks.
Great work. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for what you do. Thank you.
Thank you for your work. Yeah, thanks for your great job. Thanks. I'm going to take a picture.
You taking a picture?
Hold on, we'll do a picture.
Yeah, I know. Oh, here with count.
I think 5 is
Thank you.
at least. Edging closer, closer.
You gotta stand that way, Krista.
Closer together.
the next one. Pat? You don't have to stand in front. You can come up here.
About right here.
Perfect. Mayor, Council, we are also fortunate to be swearing in. The mayor will be swearing in Pat here shortly. Ms. Banks, I will read her bio here to everybody. She has just joined the police department, though. We continue to fill positions. We're actually getting very close to being fully staffed, so we continue to thank you for your support in filling the key positions that we have. So, as record specialist, so I will just read her bio briefly here. Patricia Banks, also known as Pat or Patty, is the newest addition to Loveland Police Department Records Division. Her job as record specialist, and she brings 25 years of experience along with her. She provides excellent customer service at our front window, so most mornings into the early afternoon, Monday through Friday. If you come in now, there is someone waiting at our window to greet you. It'll be Pat's smiling face. In addition to that, as she quickly learned, as I did when I joined, nobody within the city has any one single job. We do a little bit of everything. So she's currently getting up to speed on all the things that Pat is responsible for now. Thank you very much. Pat is a wife, mother of 3 grown children, 5 grandchildren, ranging in age from 2 to 20. She is also a dog mom to Ernie Banks. In her spare time, she enjoys traveling to the sunshine and much warmer climates, which, with what's coming tonight, I bet you wish you were already there today. And joining her is her husband, Jim, in the back. So thank you and welcome to Loveland. And she is just another fantastic addition to Loveland Police Department. So.
So before we get to the oath, just welcome to the city of Loveland. Just sort of an explanation why we do this. Otherwise, we don't always get to even know who our employees are if we're not frequenting the police station. So it's our opportunity to meet you, your opportunity to see who we are, and our opportunity to welcome you to Loveland. We are a relatively small operation, so we We value each and every one of our employees, and each and every one of our employees has to really be top notch and more than carry their own weight given the small operation that we have. So we're proud of our employees. We're proud of, as we said, our police department. So we welcome you to Loveland, and we hope you have a nice career here.
Yes.
All right. Are we ready?
Yep.
I state your name.
I, Patricia Banks,
Solemnly swear that I will
solemnly swear that I will
support the Constitution
support the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the State of Ohio,
of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter and ordinances
and the Charter and ordinances
of the City of Loveland,
of the City of Loveland,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of records clerk
the duties of records clerk
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
Welcome. I got a picture with you too, Chief. Welcome.
Thanks.
We'll get to you.
Glad you're with us. Welcome. Welcome City. Yeah, welcome. Picture for everyone.
Give one step.
Welcome. Thank you.
We want to see. Next one.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Today, we are very pleased to have Stephanie McGill join our team as a part-time finance clerk. This is a position that's been open for a while. We had very high standards with Don, who had retired back in June, and we were waiting for the right person to come along, and Stephanie has come in and filled that void already. She started the last week of December, and again is helping us out with, again, various duties from helping with accounts receivable, working on taxes for people, and answering phones and any questions that people have as they come in. So again, one of those positions that you're asked to do quite a bit, and you also represent the city when you pick up that phone and you're the voice on the other end, or somebody comes up to the window. You want to give the best customer service that you can, and we think Stephanie's doing a really good job helping us out with that. And her accounting background has just been fabulous so far, so we're very pleased to have her here.
All right. I state your name.
I, Stephanie McGill,
Solemnly swear that I will
solemnly
support the Constitution
support the Constitution
of the United
of
States,
the United States,
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the State of Ohio,
of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter and ordinances
and the Charter and ordinances
of the City of Loveland,
of the City of Loveland,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and obey the laws thereof,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of finance clerk
the duties of finance
upon which I'm about to enter.
on which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations. Welcome.
Welcome aboard. Glad to have you with us. Welcome, Lisa. Welcome. No pictures.
Mm.
Are we good?
Mm. Unbalanced person. Finance position.
For the what?
Okay. Yes. Robin? Come on up. Um, as many people know, this year, last year in 2022, the city opened their first dog park, the Haverkamp Foundation Dog Park, and we worked with the students from Tigers Inc. to help design that, to lay that out, and we always had a plan that we would expand that dog park, so to include a small dog section, and also to put in a water fountain. So the city submitted an application to the Purina Foundation to pay for approximately $14,000 to run a water main over and to put a very nice, very exclusive dog-only fountain. So the city was awarded those fundings, and Robin is here from the Purina Foundation. Ever since they opened in the Williamsburg, the city actually, we're within their market territory, so we were eligible. And actually, the mayor found out about the funding, so we submitted it. So it's a great next step. We'll get a new fountain this year, and we'll also the small dog section. If you've ever been there, you'll notice there was 2 gates. What was that all about? Well, that's because the other gate will be take you into the small dog thing. We sort of had a plan. So, Robin.
So it's always been a dream of mine to hold one of these really big checks. So I was excited to volunteer for this opportunity. So Purina is really excited to be in the area. We've been in Claremont County now a couple years building that factory. You can't miss it if you're driving out 32. It's big. So Purina, every community we enter, we want to be a part of that community. We want to be here long term. We want to really engage with the community. So this is just one thing that we'll do. We've done a lot of things all over the country in the areas that we're in. So we're really happy to be here and excited for a long term stay here. So thank you.
I don't know if any of you have been to that dog park, but it has to be one of the, if not the premier dog park in this area. It is really big. I don't know if you've seen it, but sometimes have you? Yeah, it's amazing. And that's the one thing, other than the little dog park, that we're really missing is the water line and the water fountain. So I think this is perfect timing, and this is going to be a huge addition. And I think it's great to be able to partner with a new business in Claremont County to bring this to our dog park and to our residents. So thank you all very much on behalf of the city. Thank you to Purina. Appreciate it. All right. Let's do it. Protect it.
Smile.
Would you unplug? Is it great sport? Yeah, you can unplug that. That kills them.
You're back.
Okay. Okay.
Literally. Good fun. Great fun.
Nice one.
You said we'd be happy to go. Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Every time I say
What? John. So you get a snow day tomorrow.
yeah, man.
I just saw the text.
The last item.
Dad joke.
Oh, Rob, can you come up? So I don't know if everybody remembers, but the city went through a pretty detailed process to create design guidelines to protect construction and overview, and it's already had an impact in the city's downtown district. The historic preservation design guidelines are one component of our historic preservation plan, our program. Another component of our historic preservation program is the local designation of historic sites, properties, you name it. And so far, we've got obviously the first was the most fitting, which is the homestead at the White Pillar subdivision was the city's first designated site. We've since added 2 cemeteries. And one of those, which is obviously very fitting also in the homestead, in the White Pillar subdivision, is the Paxton Ramsey Cemetery. and they went through the process, and it's a fairly detailed process to be classified as a historic site. What the things that we wanted to do was we wanted to make it pretty fitting, and so the Historic Preservation and Planning Commission actually designed a plaque that is not your run-of-the-mill plaque. These are, Corey joked that these things could probably last a couple hundred years. And we're very proud of the program. And we actually have 2 new buildings that are just submitted their nomination, the Museum Center at the Historic Loveland, and the Works is putting in. So we're really excited about this. But I can't imagine a more fitting piece of property than the Paxton Ramsey Cemetery, and I can't think of a more fitting person who this is beyond a job, a hobby for Rob. If anybody knows Rob Geiger, this is much more than a hobby. This is a passion to a whole different level. And anyone that was up there this summer was a cold, so it wasn't for the ceremony. It was first class to a different level. So we're very excited that through a very detailed process, the next official nomination was the Ramsey Paxton Cemetery. And this was actually designed by the Historic Preservation and Planning Commission. This will last for many, many years to come. And this is just a glorious tribute to this city's history, is right up in that White Pillar subdivision. And if not for Rob, it would not have been what it is, which is just a treasure, preserved treasure for this city. So I think this is just a wonderful, wonderful tribute. I'm sorry, this is the bolts have taken off.
Yeah.
All right.
It took years of planning, but I'm starting to get a little bit of a complex because the day of the dedication back in May, you had the dog park dedication before the cemetery. And then here we are tonight, and they get a presentation of the grant, and then I follow with the dog park. But this is quite a bit of an honor. I am the 6th great-grandson of Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Paxton and the 5th of Captain John Ramsey. We are now entering the phase 2, which we're working very, very hard to complete the whole process. Then we can just maintain the cemetery. But it took a lot. Dave Kennedy, I keep singing your praises. You were the first city manager that actually helped us, and we were able to accomplish. There were so many people. Even the Valentine ladies was there in the parade that day on that really cold, drizzly May day. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. And I am very honored and very proud that this whole process is coming to an end, especially with the completion of phase 2, and that we will definitely have this where everybody can see it, that we can show our pride, and hopefully other people will will have pride when they go up to the cemetery. We have made a decision because of the winter months. We do have it locked from Veterans Day until May 1st, but then it will be open after May 1st. So thank you.
It's tipping. The room's tilted this way.
Okay.
Where's
All right.
I think we're gonna do
Cece Collins.
something again. Good evening, and thank you so much. I'm Cece with the Little Miami River Chamber Alliance. We cover the city of Loveland and Sims Township and part of Miami Township. And I'm here to talk about the Valentine ladies. And you have to guess who they are here in the crowd tonight. This is always fun, so thank you so much to the city for having all of us and allowing us to do this. I am going to give just a brief history, and I've condensed it, but I think it's important to share the history. So the program started back actually in the 1970s, and the idea of celebrating Valentine's Day in the City of Love was discussed by a group years ago known as the Businessmen's Club in Loveland. You all thought I was making that up. I called it a gentleman's club, so it was close. The club was the predecessor to the Loveland Chamber, now the Little Miami River Chamber Alliance. Officially, the chamber began in 1971 during the term of the well-known Dr. Roland Boyke, who was at that time the president of the chamber. Dr. Boyke came up with the idea of creating a Valentine postmark in Loveland. Dr. Boyke became inspired by a quote by Samuel Johnson and decided to coin the phrase for each Valentine card created with the phrase, "There's nothing in the world so sweet as love." At that time, Doris Feaster was the executive secretary for the Chamber of Commerce. She agreed that if Dr. Boyke would get the logo and the package meter, which they did for $65, there was a little controversy in there, they sprung for it, that she would take care of stamping and postmarking any Valentines that would come to the chamber. Several accounts record that the starting of the program on February 14, 1969. However, this is inaccurate as the chamber was not organized until April of 1969. And the April date was verified by the Loveland Herald. It showed the start as April 17, 1969 to be exact, and Dr. Boyke was not president of the chamber until 1970. Therefore, the actual Valentine celebration was on February 14th, 1972, the first one here in Loveland. As a way to publicize the Valentine stamping, local merchants put a flyer in their ads and monthly billing statement to let the town know of the program. The flyer read, "This year, send your Valentine with a romantic postmark from Loveland, Ohio." That year, over 1,000 Valentine cards were postmarked by Doris Feaster. She had no idea it was going to be anything like that, so she got an overhit. She survived. 1975, Rick Van Sant, who was working for the United Press International in Cincinnati, coined Doris Feaster the Valentine Lady in an article. Since that time, the name has stuck. Each year since 1992, the Chamber, along with the Valentine Committee, which is made up of all the Valentines and 3 or 4 business owners and representatives in the area, elect a new Valentine Lady after they're nominated. And then they serve for 1 year. They go into schools, they visit different senior housing and different organizations and share about the program. And sometimes they share a story or two that they know that's related to the city of Loveland or love itself. So at this time, I'm going to announce all the Valentine ladies that are here. And I'm going to start with the one that's here that's been the Valentine lady the longest that's here today. Ann Fowler, give us a wave, or you can stand up. We have several, so let's hold our applause. Miss Pat Furter. There she is, the queen. All right, Peggy Goodwin, are you here? Yep, awesome. Kay Napier, not here tonight. Yep. Linda Cox, former mayor, thank you. Is Avery here? Avery Winky? No. Jan is not here. I know she's baking in Florida. Janice Fogel, 2014, down there. Sue Lundy, 2015. You should have sat in order, ladies. Carol Williams, 2017. Not here tonight. Kay Boland. Woohoo! Kathy Lorenz, 2019. Debbie Murray, 2020. Jeannie Schumacher, 2021. Oh, okay. We see you. We see you, Treble. Yep. All right. Now I'm going to bring up the person, Kay Boland, that has nominated this year's Valentine lady, and she'll read her nomination letter and then announce the new Valentine lady. I have a couple announcements right after that.
Run up, Kay.
Well, everyone might want to get comfortable because there's a lot to say about our 2023 Valentine Lady. I would like to nominate Donna Kathman Barnes for the 2023 Loveland Valentine Lady. Donna's connection to Loveland started at an early age, living on West Loveland Avenue and attending St. Columban School. Later in life, Donna and her husband Mike had a second home in Florida. But Donna always knew where she wanted to live, and that was in Loveland, the land of love. As much as her husband Mike loved the warmth and sunshine of Florida, fortunately for us, Donna gave Mike more sunshine and warmth than Florida ever could. And they eventually bought their home back in Loveland on Riverside Drive. I cannot talk about Donna as a person without mentioning that she has never met a stranger. When you first meet her, within minutes you feel you have a new friend. Donna's smile is one of the most beautiful and sincere smiles you have ever seen or felt. And this gift does not stop there, as her heart and soul are equally as beautiful and sincere. Donna volunteered for Legacy's upscale resale and consignment long before taking her current position there. Donna loves her job as well as their mission, as all proceeds from Legacy's benefit Cancer Support Community of Greater Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky, which provides free support services to patients and their families. Prior to Legacy's, Donna worked part-time for the Loveland Chamber of Commerce, now known as the Little Miami River Chamber Alliance. And I asked Cece Collins if she would like to add anything to this nomination letter, and with very fond memories, she replied by saying, Donna is one that flies under the radar, meaning she simply goes along her day with kindness and generosity of her time and asks nothing in return. Even after she stopped working with the chamber, she continued to volunteer her time there. One other fun bit of information Cece shared is that Donna knows shorthand and would take notes using shorthand. Today, Donna volunteers for and is part of the glue at the Loveland Farmers Market. You can find her there every Tuesday at the information booth or walking around counting the number of attendees for the day's record. On other days, you may see Donna walking her dog Shadow around Loveland or on the bike trail. And if you do, you would also see her carrying a bag as she picks up trash and litter along her walk to help keep our community clean and beautiful. She is a woman of many talents. She is also quite handy with renovation projects in older homes that she has lived in. One most recent home here in Loveland was on one of the last Greater Loveland Historical Society tour of homes. Donna and Mike both equally contributed to its restored beauty. When she commits to something, she puts her heart and soul into it and enjoys the research and bringing forth her vision of beauty. In addition to the endless hours and energy Donna devotes her time to, she equally makes the time to include family and friends with the same passion and never-ending energy. I am honored to nominate Donna for the 2023 Valentine Lady. I feel she is the perfect choice as she just makes people feel good and she does good, all with her contagious smile. Donna Barnes would be a great addition to our sisterhood, as well as another strong and loving Loveland Valentine Lady. Respectfully submitted, me.
So Donna, come on up. Would you like to say a few words?
I'd like to say a few words. Just a few. First of all, I'm just so honored to be a part of this group of women. They've done so much for this community, and I'm just delighted to be in the sisterhood. And I just hope to make a difference this year. I'm looking forward to February especially. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna.
Congratulations. We're almost there. Just a couple announcements. We have a breakfast that comes up. It's on February 9th. I need to pull up my notes. Sorry, kids. February 9th at Oasis at 8:30 a.m. and everyone's invited. And we celebrate 10th. Oh, sorry, ladies. Good. February 10th at Oasis at 8:30 a.m. And you can register because it's a whole breakfast at lmrchamberalliance.org. So we hope you all come and celebrate all the work these ladies have done. We also celebrate our poetry winners. They work very hard to get the word out about our poetry contest. So thank you for that, ladies. And it's always fun to read those poems. And they're going to be deciding the winners this week. So that's coming up. They'll be at the post office starting the 30th. Okay, the 30th through the 10th, 11th, and through the 11th, and they will stamp your Valentine. And you think this is just kind of a crazy idea? Everybody should have their Valentine stamped from Loveland, Ohio, the sweetheart city of the United States. So bring your Valentines. They'll stamp them with the art, and then it gets postmarked from Loveland. So you need to do that. And they also will be selling the cards. Every year there's an art contest, and you can buy a note card with this year's art on it. And it's really cute. It's got a frogman on it. So definitely come out to the post office. And all this information is on the Chamber's website as well, if you're wondering hours and all of that good stuff. Thank you so much, and congratulations, Donna. Thank you.
If I could, on behalf of the City of Loveland and City Council, congratulations to Donna Barnes. You know we love our Valentine ladies. You all represent the best of what this city has to offer. We love everything you do for our city and what you mean to this city. And I would agree with Kay Boland that Donna Barnes is one heck of a great choice for 2023. So congratulations from all of us. Glad to have you. If we could, because we're big in pictures tonight, if we could get a picture with Donna first, and then with everybody, with all the Valentine ladies.
Do we stay up here?
No, I think they're all short. They're all little ladies. And she'd be by herself.
Hey, stand over in the corner. He's reached his quota. The quota.
Well, my time is shot.
Yeah. We all.
All right, thanks for being here.
Okay. Hey, Pat, I saw you in the grocery store again. No, the other day you were busy, and I thought, no, I saw you again after that. I left you alone. Hey, Linda.
Oh, here comes the fun part.
Good night.
It's got new chairs.
Yeah. They were there last meeting, but
I didn't notice it.
yeah.
Oh,
When they're crowded, you don't see them.
True.
Thanks. See you guys.
They are nice.
T-Rob.
What's that? Explode. Yes, we did. It's less sunburned this time.
All right, you go ahead. Yes. We're in open forum. Krista's first.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Krista Rose, marketing with the City of Loveland. Can you hear me okay? I just wanted to make everyone aware that we're coming up to Hearts of Fire weekend. This is our Valentine's Day celebration. It debuted in 2022, and it's back by popular demand. And I would say that this is a Valentine's celebration and so much more. There's going to be fire twirlers, ice sculptures. Actually, there'll be over 35 ice sculptures throughout the city. There'll be live ice carving. There'll be dance lessons. Mayor Bailey will be doing vow renewals. There'll be a charity date auction, food and drink specials at the restaurants, photo ops, tons of fun. So I invite everyone to check out our websites, lovelandoh.gov or lovinlifeloveland.com to find out the details and come out for a weekend of fun with us. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know if anybody looked at this, but if you have it, I don't know how to go up there, but it's pretty unbelievable what is all happening here those 3 days or 2 days. So come on out. I think it'll be fun. All right, Lauren Enda.
So before I get started, I just want you to know that I've got the documents I'm referencing tonight. I brought copies for each of the city council members. My name is Lauren Enda, 5073 Bristol Court. Like many, I am concerned about the environmental impacts of the proposed parking garage. Our natural world is important to me, and I spend much of my time and money working towards solutions to environmental issues. I work with groups like OKI Supported Taking Root, Sierra Club, Arc of Appalachia, Cincinnati Nature Center, and the Ohio Certified Volunteer Naturalist Program. Believing that the garage would have negative environmental impacts, I requested multiple times that Loveland initiate an environmental survey, but that never happened. Instead, the focus was on finding money for the project. To that end, Loveland applied to the state of Ohio for a grant and was awarded $900,000. As part of the grant process, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources asked Loveland to answer questions about any environmental impacts. Without conducting an environmental survey of any kind, Loveland completed ODNR's documentation, answering questions inaccurately or without the necessary data. For example, when asked whether the project involves development in a floodplain, Loveland answered no, which is completely inaccurate. The entire garage would sit in a floodplain. And when asked about the garage's impact on the environment, and again without any survey, Loveland answered no to every environmental impact question. Once the ODNR was made aware that Loveland had not conducted any survey, they initiated their own environmental review and published a report last April, highlighting environmental issues that Loveland should address. Among other recommendations, here are a few. 1. Erosion and sediment controls must be above the 100-year floodplain to prevent river and stormwater from mixing. 2. A 120-foot riparian corridor between the garage and O'Banion Creek should be created. 3. A permanent easement along the creek should be turned over to a conservation organization. 4. Incorporate as few impervious surfaces, like concrete or asphalt, as possible because they are, quote, found to be in direct correlation with the degradation of stream ecosystems, end quote. Loveland's current design for the garage does not address any of these environmental concerns. That last bullet about impervious surfaces brings me to the final point. The proposed garage is one of many projects that will bring expanses of concrete to the downtown area, which could degrade O'Banion Creek and therefore the Little Miami River. In addition to building the garage, which would be a concrete slab the size of a football field, Loveland intends to widen Harrison Avenue, build a larger gazebo with concrete trails in Nisbet Park, widen existing sidewalks, and pour concrete ramps and sidewalks to the garage. This concrete pouring trend comes on the heels of new concrete slabs in front of City Hall and the Blossom Hill development approved by City Council despite fierce community opposition. A development which ripped out many trees on a steep hillside right near O'Banion Creek. This rapid accumulation of impervious surfaces in development in an already heavily paved downtown area could have disastrous, unforeseen consequences. The effects of concrete do add up. Loveland is surrounded by rivers, creeks, and streams. Downtown sits in a floodplain, and Southwest Ohio is getting more rain than ever before. And we already see the effects rain can have on infrastructure. Part of Kemper Road has slipped toward the Little Miami after heavy rains multiple times. The proposed garage is an unnecessary risk, and residents deserve open discussion. If the city chooses to proceed with building the garage, will this city council protect our environment by abiding by ODNR recommendations? Thank you.
Robert Bull. Are you speaking, Mr. Bull? Yeah, you signed up. Okay, go ahead.
One for each council member. One for each council member.
You didn't state a subject. What is the subject?
I'm sorry?
What subject are you going to speak on? You didn't
The
state
garage.
that.
The one thing I'd like to say is that the plan as I currently understand it, a two-story garage, is really excessive if you don't know what the need actually is. And I'm not sure that a need has been determined yet. And I would suggest instead of building that version of the garage, that you build a surface area lot and find out how useful it is. It doesn't prevent you from eventually building a two-story garage. It doesn't lock you in to one position. But it would allow us to find out what the need truly is, and maybe it would be less expensive. Right now, building a two-car garage would probably require issuing bonds. And in the current interest environment with what the Fed is doing, this is not a really good time to lock ourselves into bonds. And that's what I would say is don't do it the way it's planned right now, but look at an alternative that leaves your options open and is less expensive to start and may be satisfactory. Since no need assessment has been done, we might find out that it's perfectly adequate. Thank you.
Thank you. Lisa Freeman.
Good evening, Council. I'm Lisa Freeman, 173 Brushwood Drive. Loveland has again been recognized as a Tree City USA. What does that mean? There are 4 criteria to be named a Tree City. 1, we have a tree committee. 2, we have a community tree ordinance. 3, we spend at least $2 per capita on urban forestry. And 4, we celebrate Arbor Day. Last year, the City of Loveland gave away more than 100 trees. Our Public Works Department planted trees throughout Loveland and our nature preserves and our conservation area as well. This year, the Tree and Environment Committee plans to double the amount of trees given away. The Tree and Environment Committee has numerous initiatives throughout the City of Loveland. If you would like more information on these initiatives, please plan to attend the next Tree and Environment Committee meeting. They're held the second Thursday of every month at 7:30 p.m. right here in City Hall. Being named a Tree City reflects the City of Loveland staff and council's commitment to the health of our environment in a tangible way. So thank you.
Thank you. Todd Osborne.
Good evening, Council. Todd Osborne, 1100 Sunrise Drive. I'm going to speak about grants, but several comments have been made tonight. The garage has been under discussion, or parking for downtown has been under discussion. I represent the 2010s and 2000s of City Council. Pat Mays was on council in the 90s. This issue was in the Comprehensive Master Plan of 1993, so it's been discussed and researched, and it's time to actually do something. So congratulations to council and to the city administration on moving forward. As far as grants, I know that sitting in the chamber meeting after meeting, and there's discussions about what the city administration has received, a grant here and a grant there. Mr. Kennedy, can you possibly go over just a ballpark figure on last year's amount? Because I believe it could be the largest amount ever the city's ever received in grants.
So the city received a $3.3 million brownfield grant through the Ohio Department of Development for Chestnut. Cindy Kloppenstein, our city engineer, single-handedly between two projects, the Harrison project and the East Loveland project, received over $1 million in grant funding for those two projects. Some projects are funded in one year and begin the next. The city was awarded $75,000 for the two tot lots up in the Heights, 14 for the dog park. The city received money for the purchase of 501 Loveland Madeira Road. Corey will soon be receiving money for the demolition of the mobile station. The Nisbet Park gazebo and the Nisbet Park walkways were actually two separate grants. I'm sorry, I'm still thinking some of these through. The Main Street Water project that Cindy received funding for, which also replaced the traffic signals at the corner of Wall and West Loveland. Then also the city received a grant to put AEDs up in McCoy Park. I don't really have the exact amount, Todd. If I went to the budget, it's over $5 million. And Cindy, just quietly, I can't say how beneficial it is that Cindy sits on the committees and she gets to review applications, and every time the city doesn't get funded, she writes down and interviews all the things she can do to gain more points the next time she submits her application. It is simply amazing. We've been talking about Harrison Street forever. What's getting ready to happen, thanks to Cindy, at the East Loveland Nature Preserve with that bridge is massive. And the fact that she was able to I know there's one thing that seems to frustrate more residents, and rightfully so, is when we do a project and then somebody else comes and does something else. It's like, do you guys talk? And it's sort of frustrating. The fact that Cindy was able to coordinate all the different agencies that are going to be doing this project up here one time, because it's going to be a pain. I think she is just incredible what Cindy is able to pull off. And obviously the city does very well with park grants through ODNR Nature Works, because ODNR sees Nisbet Park as sort of an amenity to their bike trail. So when we apply for projects through Nature Works Nisbet, the gazebo, the restrooms, the walking, the redo of the back shelter, and the new play set, we sort of say, look, this is your bike trail, we're making it better. So we sort of, we learned some of the angles on those things. So, what?
Don't take all of
Oh,
them.
I'm sorry, Todd. I'm sorry, but
All right.
Cindy really does just an incredible job. What Cindy does. Sorry about that.
What I would say
can have another.
what I would say is the city owes you, your administration, Cindy, Corey, a great deal of gratitude.
Thanks.
And we residents appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. All right, next is review and approval of minutes from the January 10th, 2023 meeting. Are there any corrections, additions? We have a motion to approve as written.
Motion to approve. Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Ori?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
I have to abstain because I wasn't at.
Mr. Ping? Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
And Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Mr. Kennedy?
I think we touched on this a little bit tonight. So I did a geophysical study on whether or not there was the Indian burial ground over there. Geophysical study is sort of a broad-based study, and then so they asked us to do a more in-depth study, which is an archaeological phase 1, which will be actually in the ground and so on and so forth. As soon as we received that proposal and the notification that we needed to move forward before they could give us a definitive answer, we put it on the agenda real quickly so we could get moving on it. It's $25,741. We were able to offset the cost because the city will be actually probably using our new excavator to do some of the digging. And I clarified with ODNR, we are able to use a portion of our $900,000. So this is a study. Corey will get to peel out tomorrow because I'll go on vacation. So this will do the archaeological study for the Indian burial ground. To answer the question on whether or not there's an Indian burial ground at the parking garage site at 213 North 2nd Street.
Any comments or questions? All right, can you read the resolution, please?
Resolution authorizing.
Go ahead.
This one.
Resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Environment Archaeology to complete a phase 1 archaeology study for 213 North 2nd Street.
Any comment on the resolution? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ori?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Ping?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Resolution 13 is adopted by a vote of 6-0.
Mr. Kennedy?
I know I beat this one to death last time, so I'm going to go really fast. This is the acceptance of the Kemper Road annexation. It actually has a Hopewell. This is a piece of property the city has owned since 1996, and it is a piece of land just up from Walgreens. It's about the easiest way for me to tell you where it is. And it is the prior administrations and council never did anything on this because, quite frankly, there made no purpose. It's an undevelopable piece of land. The city desires to do a community entertainment district number 2 in that area, loosely bounded by receptions and Starbucks, that area to help entice entertainment style development in that area. And so we wanted to create a community entertainment district. It is required that the city owns land within the community entertainment district. We would prefer that land to be within our city limits. So we annexed this piece of property into the city, and we'll be bringing the community entertainment district to you at the next meeting. Please note that with this annexation, we're also assuming a little bit of that right of way. That's probably going to be the trend in the future as needed by the county. It won't impact road maintenance. I certainly can't envision a plow truck going right up to that line and 86 feet later putting back his plow. But if so, I guarantee you Scott will be there. I just want to thank, this was a really complicated one. You wouldn't think it was, but it was constantly changing. I really want to thank Joe. He did a great job with Choice 1 to get us to where we're at right now. Again, this property is not going to be developed. It's an add-on to our community entertainment district. The application will be presented to the mayor at the next meeting.
Any comments or questions? Yes,
Mr. Kennedy, you attached to the resolution is obviously a resolution passed by the county commissioners, Hamilton County, that approved or granted the petition.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yep.
What's the next step after
This is it. So if you recall, the only difference when we owned the land, we didn't have to do a designation of an agent, and we didn't have to do that because we owned the land. So all that you guys did was you authorized me via motion at a meeting. Then Joe and then the city authorized Choice 1 engineers to do the record plat, which is an annexation, Mylar. And then Then you pass legislation X number of days after it was submitted to the county. You passed legislation declaring the services to be provided. Then Joe did his thing with the county. Then at the time that it's officially served on Misty, that it was approved, then the clock counts. It must be a certain number of days, the next regular meeting following 60 days after the day Misty is handed it. So Joe and I will get on our little calendars and make sure we get the right date. So this is it. It's officially in the city as soon as you adopt this resolution.
Thank you.
We are just required to show you that the Hamilton County Commissioners have approved it.
Any other questions or comments? Read the resolution, please.
Resolution accepting the annexation of land from Sims Township, Hamilton County, Ohio, including 2.474 acres of land owned by the City of Loveland.
Any comment on the resolution? Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Phelps,
Yes.
Mr. Ping,
Yes.
Mayor Bailey,
Yes.
Mr. Lamb,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
Mr. Ori.
Yes.
Resolution 14 is adopted by a vote of 6-0.
Is this you, Dave, or right to the chief?
It goes right to the chief.
Right to the chief.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Today I'm going to discuss flock safety and the automatic license plate readers. We do have a brief PowerPoint presentation that will cover the majority of the information that we have as Mr. Wright pulls that up. Yeah, go ahead and pull it up. This item was included in the capital improvement, so we have had this discussion before, but I'll just go into a little bit more detail.
Multimedia. That's your intro video.
Yep, that's perfect. So that video is provided by Flock Safety just to give you a visual of what the cameras look like, what they're going to look like in the community. We'll go through just a little bit more information about this. Go ahead and hit the first slide there, please. So what is the technology here? It is simply a license plate recognition. It gathers objective data. They've identified it as the vehicle fingerprint. I'll go into that more here briefly. It alerts police of wanted vehicles based on license plate information only. We use that information to then solve crime, and it adheres to all state laws. Another click, please. What isn't this technology? It is not facial recognition. You saw the cameras are placed so that we collect the rear license plate on the vehicle. Since Ohio no longer requires a front license plate, we only capture the rear of the license plate. It is not tied to any personal identification information. So when what information goes into the database is, as I said, the vehicle fingerprint. And we have a slide that will define exactly what that is, but it does not give us a name, does not give us a picture of the person that was driving, the occupants, anything like that. It is not used for traffic enforcement. There is no speed detection. There's nothing if somebody turns right on red. This is no traffic enforcement at all. The data that is collected, we do own the data. It is collected by the provider, by the vendor. It is stored for 30 days. After 30 days, it is automatically deleted, and it is unrecoverable after it is deleted. So the vehicle fingerprint, you see the upper left there is the actual camera that is there, and then there's a solar power panel that will be out there. These are not hardwired in, they are all solar and then battery. So it captures the license plate, the make and model of the vehicle. That's done through the software that the company has developed. It will identify the color. It will tell you the camera, the location of the camera, the time, and then it will tell you the number of times within the last 30 days that that plate has been captured by that specific camera. That's the information that is stored within the system.
You said that's the camera?
That is the actual camera, yes.
What's its size?
It is
Handheld?
probably about 6 inches tall, maybe 4 inches wide. Very, very compact, yes.
Chief, will it alert mismatches of license plate and vehicle?
It does not.
Okay.
So how is the technology used by law enforcement to prevent and eliminate crime? It gives us a real-time alert of proactive information on if a vehicle is stolen or wanted as it enters our city. So the information that it captures that vehicle fingerprint. It does compare the license plate that it identifies to the national database for wants on that specific license plate. It does not run the owner. It's just what's tied directly to that license plate. So it's going to be if somebody reports a car stolen, it's going to be if that car has been used in a crime. If it's that car was entered into the Flock database as being wanted for a particular crime from another law enforcement jurisdiction. Silver alert, amber alert. Those are the databases that it is hitting. Again, it's investigative only. It's a searchable database of that vehicle fingerprint, and they do act as a deterrent. Communities that do have this have seen a reduction in crime because criminals know that when they drive into the city, we are capturing their license plate data to be used at a later time for the next 30 days. 70% of all crime involves a vehicle. We know that. So this is why we want to capture this information. All license plates are public information. We're not capturing any information that's not public information. Anyone in here can jot down a license plate any place, send off a request to the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, and get the information tied into that license plate. It's not it's not proprietary information. It's not secret information. It's actually public information. All of the Flock database, it provides real-time information to the officers. Again, vehicles, just the vehicle, not the owner. Wanted for crimes. If it's a missing or wanted person, amber alerts, silver alerts. Once we have that information, so even if we do get an amber alert or a silver alert or a vehicle that's wanted in connection with the crime and an officer finds that vehicle, we then have to confirm that information with our law enforcement databases. So we can't rely solely on that to make a stop. We can't stop vehicles based solely on the Flock information. We then have to confirm that information with other databases, other sources. So we then use our police computers, the LEADS computer, NCIC, BCI, to confirm that that is in fact a wanted vehicle or a wanted amber alert or whatever it would be. And we have to, going back to the search from into Flock, we actually have to list a legitimate law enforcement reason, what type of investigation it is. If we have a case number, we actually are required to put in a case number so that all that information, there's an audit trail. We're responsible for why we ran that information. We can come back and find out why was a search done for a particular license plate in the system. Again, any law enforcement information must be confirmed, or any information must be confirmed with other sources. So how could we use, how could LPD use Flock and that information? These are just two recent, actually have one as recently from over the weekend too. After Christmas in Loveland, there was a vehicle that hit and run to city property, did approximately $13,000 and then fled the scene. That vehicle left enough vehicle parts where we were able to identify the make, model, and color of the vehicle. Had we had Flock at that time, that it had that vehicle come into the city and pass by a flock camera, our officers from the car or on their phone could have initiated a flock database search for that make, model, and color of car during the time period that we needed, and it would have given us all of that information back of what, let's just say it was, a black sedan. It would have given us that information immediately, that all the black sedans, or specifically the Toyota, had entered our city or a particular camera over a period of time. It would is very highly likely that it would have provided a license plate within minutes for our officers. Next slide, please. Also on that weekend, we had an 81-year-old Loveland resident who was supposed to be going out to his car. He had memory issues, was supposed to be going out to car just to start the car. Instead of doing that, he got in the car and drove away. Actually, it was a truck, and drove away. Had we been able to enter that information into the flock data system, anytime that vehicle drove past any flock camera in the area, that would have given an alert not only to us, but to that law enforcement agency that, hey, this is a vehicle that Loveland is looking for because the driver needs to be stopped because it's has memory issues and shouldn't be driving. So again, that would have given us potentially an area to start searching, locations or jurisdictions to contact, hopefully within seconds of that driver passing those cameras. Just one that didn't make the presentation because it just happened over the weekend. We had a truck stolen from Queen City Motors. There was a suspect vehicle that was identified with that. It was a white van. Again, had that vehicle passed by one of the cameras coming into the city, we could have done a search for that time frame. White vans coming into the city gave us an investigative lead to try and follow up with potential suspects from that crime. So flock in Ohio, currently there are 15 Cincinnati metro area jurisdictions that are currently using it. Every jurisdiction that adjoins Loveland currently is either using or is in the process of looking at flock cameras. More than 100 agencies throughout Ohio use it, and 150 more agencies throughout Kentucky and Indiana currently use flock. So just in our region, that totals about, I believe it's 650. There we go. About 650 flock cameras that are currently in Ohio that we would have share information from. So if we're looking for a car, if it traveled from the Dayton area or from Cincinnati up here, and we're looking for a particular suspect vehicle, we can glean that information from the flock system. Yes, sir.
What about Northern Kentucky?
Northern Kentucky, yes, they are into Kentucky. I don't know exactly how many jurisdictions are there, but yes, they are in Northern Kentucky.
Thanks.
Transparent, yes, sir.
Needless to say, it'd be great if this system would talk, at least interact with systems like Cincinnati's. I'm not suggesting that it's a negative that it doesn't. It's just it seems a shame that either Cincinnati should work on adopting flock or the other way around.
I can't speak specifically to Cincinnati and their process. I know there were a number of larger agencies that previously had their own in-house system that did this, but a lot of them, I know Dayton has since switched, and they are actually in the process of installing flock cameras themselves now. So I'm not sure about Cincinnati. I know Hamilton County does use them. Sims Township is currently looking at adding cameras also. And we will coordinate with those other jurisdictions, obviously, when we place our cameras too, because we do share that information. That information is ours. It's ours to share. We don't have to share it, but obviously there's a benefit for us to share information with other law enforcement jurisdictions. But we do actually own the information. The good thing about this vendor is we don't own any of the other infrastructure or the maintenance on. They take care of everything. So they install the cameras, they maintain the batteries. If a driver happens to knock it over, somebody comes and steals one of those, they replace it. We are not financially responsible for any of the equipment. They maintain ownership of all that, but we do in fact own the data. But we use their system to access that data. There is again a 30-day retention, and then it's deleted. That allows for all that data that's not associated with a crime. So just the general person driving down the road, so that's not going to be there forever. We're not going to be able to track anybody. That information there for 30 days, and then it goes away forever. Oh, back up one. A few more things on that. Again, investigative reason is required, and there is an audit trail, a very detailed audit trail about who ran it, why they ran it, because we're required to do that. There is no facial recognition. It is not predictive policing. It doesn't just start telling us things about cars or telling us anything about the car unless it's entered into the system or we have a specific law enforcement reason to go back and find out. No personal information. It's the car only, the vehicle fingerprint, make, model, color, what camera it drives by, and a picture of the back of the vehicle, the license plate. It is not connected to any other registration data or third-party database. That's up to us to use law enforcement databases to get that. And then there is a transparency portal. We do not. This is an option, but we are going to opt in for this. Transparency portal will allow any resident to get into the Flock safety system and see how we are using the system. It will show them how many license plates have been captured, how many searches we are doing, the reason for making searches. So any citizen will be able to log in and find out how police are using that information.
Chief, if an amber or silver alert are issued in the state and the license plate goes through one of our cameras, does it alert you to that?
Yes, any officer that's logged into the system, anybody that has it on their phone, you can set it up so that will actually send an alert to your phone that an amber alert just went by this camera, this date. It'll alert your phone.
So it's real time.
Real time, yes. There's very short delay.
So you showed the handheld camera that I was pointing to in the slide. Then are there stand-up cameras as well that you place?
So yeah, so that pole, there's a pole it's about 10 feet tall. That camera is attached to the pole, and at the top of that pole is a battery and also a solar panel, and that's it. So a very small footprint. It's high enough out of so we're not blocking drivers' views. I've been working with, speaking of Cindy, she's been fantastic on this project. She's absolutely, the placement of them and where they're going to be, they're not going to create obstructions to any drivers. They're going to be up and out of the way, and they're going to be placed to capture the majority or a large percentage of the traffic that's coming into our city.
What's the number of cameras?
So the financial impact for us and what we have decided to start with, the Flock vendor recommended a few more cameras. They recommended 13 to cover the entire city. After speaking and going over the budget, we've narrowed that down to 6. We have 6 locations throughout the city. We're still tweaking that exact. We don't have an exact map yet, but we're asking for 6. So the financial impact of those 6, each year there's a $2,500 fee to access that data, for them to maintain it, everything with that, for the updates, and for us to have access to search and enter information into that. And then the first year there is a $350 fee per camera for them to install. So the financial impact for year 1 of this contract would be $17,100, which was slightly higher than that was included in the 2023 CIP, which was approved by council. And then year 2 of the contract would be $15,000, and we would come back for the 2024 CIP for that approval. So if council adopts as is, we've requested 6. Obviously, council would have the option to increase that, decrease that, or obviously not support the resolution.
So you said that we would come back for the CIP for the $15,000 in 2024.
For year 2, yes.
Is that rate locked in though once we decide to do it?
The $15,000 for year 2 is locked in right now. Okay. They have never increased. They have not had a price increase. Flock has been around for a number of years. Obviously, we don't know what the future is going to hold for pricing, but as of right now,
at least for 2 years,
$15,000 per year would gain us access to this. Yes.
One more question. The Flock is, we see where there's 650 agencies near us, but
correct.
Is it nationwide?
Yes, they are nationwide. They are the number one in this area, and there are a number of competitors, but in Ohio and in this region of the Midwest, they are the number one vendor.
Does their system talk to the other vendors' systems, or?
I don't believe so. I believe it's all proprietary information on how there's actually a lot of technologies involved in how it captures the information of the car determines the make and model. They actually take measurements of the vehicle. I'm just going to throw out 164 as a number I seem to remember, but that's how they determine the make model of the vehicle, is through their software, proprietary software, and then also the color. They can also determine if it has a sticker, if it has a missing hubcap. We can put in things like that. If there's a bike rack on the back, so we can actually, again, their software will
That's
allow
like half
us.
the cars that go through Loveland.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Mr. Kennedy, did you have anything?
The mayor had mentioned about record detention on our policy, so I talked to Misty, and she's going to go through our record retention policy, just make sure that that we're in line with that, and if so, she'll gather the Joe and myself, and we'll make any amendments, because it's public record. It goes away automatically in 30 days, and Kathy wanted to make sure that our policies are in line, so Public Records Extraordinaire will be looking into that, and if there's any changes, we'll put together.
We did give that a glance, but absolutely, yes, we would.
Yeah.
A second look is always great.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? All right. Thank you, Chief. Thank you for the visuals. That always helps us. All right. Want to go ahead and read the resolution?
Resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a service agreement with Flock Group, Inc. for the installation and operations of automatic license plate readers.
All right. Any comment on the legislation? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ping?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Ori?
Yes.
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 Vice Mayor Phelps?
Yes.
Resolution 15 is adopted by a vote of 6-0.
Mr. Wright?
Thank you, Mayor Bailey. So this evening I have an ordinance where we would amend the recently adopted schedule of municipal positions to add the position of Assistant Public Works Director. So we would be amending the schedule and repealing Resolution 2023-01, which was adopted by Council at the last meeting. So we included this position in the budget that was approved by Council. This position, the city has 15 full-time employees in the Public Works Department. Fantastic group of people there. We have a Public Works Director, City Engineer. We have a Water Plant Superintendent. And we have some maintenance crew leaders, a city mechanic, a maintenance worker, and some other maintenance workers there. Just some notable facts and figures about the city. More than 55.5 square miles, more than 108 lane miles of roadway in the city. We provide snow, ice, tree, brush, leaf collection, removal. We have over 5,000 users in our municipal water system, and we have more than 77 miles of water main in our distribution system as well, and 5,000 gallons or 5 million gallons in the air at any time. That's what Ricky tells me all the time. He says there's 5 million gallons in the air, so we have capacity of 1.2 million gallons a day in treatment, about 157 acres of parks and natural areas, and an extensive physical plant and building and grounds complement there, as well as traffic signals, public events, the whole 9 yards. So we're a very busy community, and our folks do a lot. We have a very kind of a generalist work pool there. They are not really specialists, with the exception of the guys with the water classifications, but they all handle everything. So we have a pretty diverse workforce and a pretty diverse group of tasks assigned to those folks. We have more than 13,191 residents now, hundreds of businesses, a growing daytime population. And so looking at this position, what is this position? What will it help us do? Well, it will help us with additional administration and oversight in the department. First and foremost, and I believe in open forum, Ms. Freeman addressed it, we're a tree city. So one of the most important things we can do as a tree city is develop and maintain a vegetation tree program, planting program, vegetation management program, management of the city's natural and improved public spaces, all of those things. And this position is envisioned to really help us grow that and really professionalize that aspect in the city's operation. So that will be a critical component of that, really building that from the ground up. Additionally, that we would expect that this person, the right candidate, would have competencies in administrative oversight, working in a government purchasing system, working with buildings and grounds maintenance, working with supervision of other employees, working on a kind of having a diverse skill set that can really complement our existing staff. And the other part of that too, and City Council has talked about this, and I know Mr. Kennedy has talked about this, is succession planning, and having somebody who can learn the roles, no matter what happens in the department, that can step in and provide additional oversight and leadership in that regard. Just really at this point with our public works operation, this would be an asset to that. And so what's required is two readings to the ordinance, to amend the schedule, create the position. Once the position's created, then we can work to fill that. And again, that was a position that we did budget for and that council approved. So,
Thank you. Any comments or questions, Mr. Hart?
This position we're putting as this commensurate with like communities around other communities who have these type positions. Are they paid commensurate with like
that? Actually, so we're right in line in that. I can tell you that in my prior community, we had a service director and an assistant service director. Both of those individuals had a variety of duties. They were pretty diverse duties. I know that in talking to Mr. Kennedy, he's had a couple conversations with the City of Montgomery. They have a position very similar to this. It's kind of a generalist administrative role, and it's somebody that can kind of jump in and help us, help the city engineer, help us in project management, help us with staff management and oversight, kind of odds and ends. I really look at these types of positions as sort of ombudsman type positions, in the sense that they can, they can float and use them where we need them to be effective, to make sure that we can really deploy our resources in that regard.
So we're in line with
yes,
our
absolutely,
size and our like.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm encouraged by the notion that what's being thought here is that there'd be bandwidth that this position would have to do some of the things we've been talking about in terms of priorities for green space and trees and the canopy over the city. I assume that can be part of what this person can shoulder, or at least help the city to shoulder.
Absolutely. We view that as a critical component, not only in regards to, vegetation maintenance, looking at the nature preserves, our natural areas, looking at helping the city with our downtown, and as we take on the streetscape project, having a robust vegetation, an acumen to look at the street trees, and then knowing how to engage those professionals, that have those certifications to assist us where necessary to, if we have an issue or we have, a particular challenge or whatnot. And then the other part of that is really assisting us in sort of, one project that I thought looks fantastic was the bike trail landscaping that got completed at the very end of, the warm season. The warmer part of the season now that we're in the dead of winter here. But, the improved public spaces and beautifying downtown and just really not only downtown, but all of our corridors, as we know, we want to rejuvenate Loveland Madera, and so we imagine that there will be vegetation improvements and things in those rights of way too. So certainly, that would be a critical task. Yes.
Any other comments or questions?
I'll just add that the succession plan is a really important element of this, something that I think you all know that Rob Weisgerber was a big proponent of. And I obviously have Corey. Mark has someone, we'll soon be meeting our new assistant chief, thanks to Mike's hard work. And it's very important for the citizens of the city that these services, that they continue, that there's not this big gap. Oh, he left, she left. So, can you imagine what Corey's learned already since March? What the new chief will bring to the table, and the new assistant chief will bring to the table. Scott has a lot of specialties. I think Corey will try to find that person that sort of complements what Scott's really good at. And I think it will really help offset all these incredible responsibilities that are on Cindy. So I think Corey did a great job with that job description. It really fits in. And so I just wanted to add that because I think Rob Weisgerber was a very strong proponent of succession planning. We really haven't had it until now. So,
All right. Any other comments or questions? All right, want to go ahead and do the first reading?
Ordinance establishing the compensation and classification for the position of Assistant Public Works Director and repealing Ordinance 2023-01.
Thank you. Mr. Medler.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So last week, the Finance Commission got together for their first meeting of 2023, and we looked over the fourth quarter 22 financials. So the big thing that jumps out for us is our income tax. It's something we look at all the time. Last year, we were very pleased that we had passed $5 million for the first time. And then 2022, we've passed $6 million, which we really didn't expect that to happen. We knew growth was doing very well. And I remember sitting here and saying, yeah, we don't expect 10% increases every year. Well, I was correct. It wasn't a 10% increase. It was 16%. So is that sustainable? Well, probably not over a long time. We are hopeful that growth will continue this year, and I think we'll keep going. Whether it'll be 16, 20, well, probably not, but we'll definitely keep an eye on it for you. So that was very encouraging to get that information in. That it was all across the board with the increases, both the withholdings and net profits and individuals. So really strong information there. Driven a lot by people still working from home, salaries of continue to increase with inflation. So a whole lot of things went into that number to get us to over $6 million. Just some other kind of general points. Fire levy is going to be increasing here in 2023. As you know, we have the new levy that was passed by our voters in the spring. We'll start to see some revenue from that actually coming in the next couple of months. Enterprise funds is something that we're continuing to look on. Overall, things improved in 2022, but a lot of that was related to some grants we had received. In 23, we will see more revenue from the water line replacement fee that has just been put in, help us out with a lot of our projects that we have coming up. So that's just kind of the high level. Didn't want to take an hour to dive into the details, but if you had any specific questions on that, I'd be glad to take that.
Any questions? No? All right. Thank you, Mr. Medler. I think we need a motion to accept the quarterly update, correct?
So moved.
For a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Ori?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Ping?
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
All right. Mr. Medler.
Thank you, Mayor. So the income tax report, we touched on that really in the last section. Really not too much to add. We're continuing to watch as things have increased the last few years. It has increased in all three of our major categories that we track: withholding, business, and an individual. There really was nothing out of the ordinary that would be a red flag saying, well, this isn't going to continue because X or anything like that. So we just expect another positive year in 2023.
Thank you. Any questions or comments regarding that? I do know in 21, Mr. Kennedy was thrilled to get over 5 million, and we blew past 6. It's actually 6.7. It's pretty incredible in 1 year. All right. There are various committee minutes. Anybody have any comments on those? All right. Just a reminder that we have Hearts of Fire weekend. We will not meet again until after that. So February 10th through 11th. Hope to see you downtown. Our next meeting is actually Valentine's Day. So you're welcome, gentlemen. You have to take your ladies to dinner that night. All right. Does anybody have any other reports of any kind? Yes, Vice Mayor.
Just want to say who dat.
True that.
Who dat.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, anything else? Yes, Mr. Hart.
I just wanted to give a kudos to Scott and his team for their work with the last snow event we had. I had 2 people. Sunday was actually a wrestling tournament day for my son, so we had many people I'm in communication with out driving, and I had at least 2 people reach out to me directly and say roads in Loveland are good. I got out of Loveland, it was on. So just wanted to give him a shout out, and especially with tonight's weather, that's the job again.
Thank you. Anything else?
The new Public Works Center opened is open for business, and it looks spectacular. And I'm sure that with the weather coming tonight, it's going to be well worthwhile.
All right. We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
The chairs are nice. Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Ori?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Ping?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Fun day.